I just went live. If you guys want to share it.
Cool. Your account or Facebook?
My account.
Or, I mean, yeah.
I'm selfish. I don't want to share.
Russ, can you like lean into the mic like you would be talking? Okay. That should be good. This week we are brought to you by a tribe called Quest.
Yes.
Okay. Is everybody sound check but me?
No.
Too busy listening to sweet music. Wow, your phone's still doing that?
Yep, well, it's still broken. So, yeah, of course it's still doing it.
Buy a new one, money bags. That's a good cider. It's got 5%. I approve.
Oh yeah, getting
The
started.
Shilling Dry has got like 7%. It's
Wine has like 10 to 20%.
yeah.
I can live with that.
You gonna crush that bottle, bro?
I'm not gonna, well, it's glass, so I'm probably not gonna literally crush it.
Oh no.
Chut, 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 chut. Ooh, I got the double binder. Right?
Check 1, 2, check 1, 2.
Check. Derek's too loud. Check 1, 2. Hi, Keith.
Hello.
Are these right?
I still want to hear about
I
Ireland
feel like that these should be
with
switched.
frickin' Bong Sadie.
I know, right?
Yeah.
What phone games did he play at the airports when he was waiting?
He was Clash
Ta,
of
ta,
Clans.
ta. Whoa, surprise. Derek's too loud. Cha, ka, pa. I pledge allegiance.
Joel.
Titillating. Titillating fuck. Fucking titties. Titty motherfucker.
Russell.
Coulda, woulda, shoulda, houlda, coulda, coulda. Something like this.
Gentlemen.
I can't hear. I can't hear it on my mic.
You sound fine. I have no idea what's wrong with the sound. We just sound like shit back up.
Like speakers or something.
Hey, look, I remembered to bring a charger.
Noise.
It only took 20. How many episodes?
Can you hear anything now?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, except for the underage ones. 5, 4, 3.
I did it again. Welcome, maniacs. This is End User Disagreements, episode 29. We are the gaming podcast that asks, does your... Wait, no. That's not a question. It's the podcast where your opinion is...
Apparently it doesn't matter, especially after this week.
It doesn't
Yeah.
matter what you think.
It doesn't matter. In the most rocky... Rock? Rocky? Was it Bishop
Dwayne,
Shilford?
Rockiest?
Johnson?
Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It's appreciated, like we always say, but it is
Invalid.
invalid. That's the word.
Of course, yes.
Thank you very much. This is End User Disagreements. This is episode 29.
29.
That's a lot of episodes.
It is.
We're coming to you from Studio 212, here, part of the Soundcasting Network in South Lake Union, Seattle. Today we are proudly brought to you by...
A tribe.
We were brought to you by a tribe called Quest this week because...
Just like just the tip, you gotta say the whole thing.
Just the tip, Tribe Called Quest. You gotta see all of it. And I guess we're also brought to you by Tisdale and... we're brought to you by alcohol.
Yes, and Minute Maid, cranberry, apple, raspberry. Surprisingly, this goes pretty well with
Are
what
you
I love.
sangria-ing, technically?
Oh, actually, no, I'm drinking cab this time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, awesome. I hope everybody had a good weekend. It's been a gnarly week.
No kidding.
No kidding. All things aside, there was gaming to be had. And that's what's important with this podcast.
Are we talking about the Seattle gaming? Because they did so well last night.
Man.
You know what? Those pink bastards on my Super Bowl, we should have tried to do that. Every Seahawks game, we should do a Tecmo Super Bowl.
Tecmo Super Bowl or just regular old Tecmo Bowl?
Tecmo Bowl, sorry.
Because in Tecmo Bowl, yeah, the Seahawks were pink and something, yeah. I remember that.
Oh, wait, but it wouldn't be the current roster.
And they had like 3 jacked up passing plays and a crappy running
Now,
play.
dude, that would be something to invest in. A Tecmo Bowl that uses current team rosters.
Oh, dude, they have that. I'm gonna point that out. It's a YouTube page. The guy's name is Jerry Slocum, and he has like entire leagues that are simulated in this brand new like user-made version of Tecmo Bowl with like current rosters and everything.
The more you know.
He also does those remakes. Have you ever seen those remakes of actual NFL plays done in Super Bowl? It's done in Tecmo Bowl. That's him as well.
Well, anyway, that sounds awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
I only really played Mutant League, so.
And we gotta give them a shout out because they use Tecmo Bowl in the those Hyundai commercials with Bo Jackson.
Oh, was
Kia?
it?
Oh, they totally do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Hyundai.
yeah, it's totally Tecmo Bowl.
Hyundai.
Bo Jackson was a beast on that game.
Yeah?
Oh yeah, the original one. Yeah, he was a beast.
Okay. I'll take your word for it. I was always bad at Tecmo Bowl.
We'll play it. Maybe we'll have it at the launch party or something.
At that magical, mystical unicorn of a launch party. It'll happen, maniacs. I promise it'll happen. And we'll do keg stands, and we'll have cornhole. We probably won't have either of those two.
Yeah, probably not.
I'm from the Midwest, and we're probably not gonna have cornhole.
Right off the bat, let's jump into it. I want to talk about the 25th anniversary of
Sonic?
Paul Youngberg's favorite mythical creature, Sonic the Hedgehog, turning 25.
Sonic or Sanic?
Sonic.
Gotta go fast.
Wasn't there? Oh yeah, man. When we were just talking about his cartoon shows and everything, but the original Sonic the Hedgehog, 25 damn years old.
Yeah, go fig. And you know what? I found out hedgehogs actually aren't blue.
No.
Yeah, it's kind of strange how that works like that.
And they're not that fast either.
No, they're
On
not.
issue 1 of like the comic book that they tried to hype the game with, he was a brown hedgehog, and then he ran on a treadmill and it like electrocuted him and turned him electric.
Is that the original Archie comic book? Right?
No, it was before Archie got involved. It was like a Sega thing that came out as a promotion for the game.
Oh yeah, with continuity, schmontinuity, and those things.
Yeah, that had nothing to do with anything.
At all.
And I think the explosion also made a normal robot scientist into Dr. Eggman.
Yeah, those were just to have a picture, so as a kid you could be like, "Mom, this." Like that was the whole reason for those promotional.
Mom, buy
comics.
this.
Yep.
Buy this or I'm gonna cry. Buy me toys.
Yeah, but 25 years, I can't believe it. Pretty much Sonic was the franchise that brought me into, Sega's fold altogether. Beforehand, I really didn't care about it. Master System was cool, but I still wanted an NES. But once Sonic ended up coming out, that was the game that you had to end up playing.
Yeah.
So when exactly did Jaleel White get involved?
That wasn't until the first cartoon series.
Oh, it had nothing to do with the... I guess there was no voiceovers on the games until then, huh?
Nope.
No, you're totally right.
Sonic had a lot of personality in those games, but no, he didn't talk. The only talking we got was the awesome Sega at the beginning, and that freaked everybody out back in the day. I remember that.
It still freaks me out every time I hear it.
Yeah.
I know, he's super loud in the Smash Brother games.
Yeah. It's still the same kind of voice. It's like,
Yeah,
you'll never
but-
catch me, Robotnik, or however
You're
you talk.
too slow.
Yeah. Uh-oh.
Yeah, but for me, it's pretty amazing how long, Sonic's icon status has stayed around, despite the fact that we really haven't had a great game in the Sonic franchise in forever, depending on who what you play on, who you ask, and what you're looking for.
I beg to differ. Those Sonic Generation games are excellent. And they remade the first Sonic game and they broke it up into episodes, and those are excellent too. And actually, a lot of the backlog is now available on your PC or your console or whatever. And some of those lost gems, like Sonic CD, that's a great game.
That was an amazing
Yeah.
game. Oh man, when you didn't do things right and you went into the future and it was all dystopian.
Mm-hmm.
They made every single stage 3 times. There's the normal stage, then there's the dystopian future, and then there's the utopian future.
Nice.
And the utopian future, if I remember correctly, Maniacs, please correct me on this if I'm wrong. I don't think it had... Did it not have villain, character robots? They were all just like woodland creatures prancing around.
I've only played it slightly. My son's really gotten into the Sega CD, Sonic CD game. I only played it a little bit. But no, I thought there was robots on there. You bust them open. I can't be sure though.
I have to say, what they did with Sonic and Knuckles was legendary when that happened.
Oh, are you talking about the cartridge itself?
Just the tip. Do you want to jump into this and explain to them what's going on with the Sonic and Knuckles add-on cartridge?
Okay, so...
School them.
So after Sonic 3 ended up coming out, they needed to go ahead and expand the franchise, find some way to make it cool. And this was during the time period when Sega in general was working with peripherals and finding different things. Like we had the Sega CD. They were also working on the 32X, which is supposed to be an expansion to make it from 16-bit to 32-bit at the time. One of the experiments they had was the Sonic & Knuckles cartridge, which you could play by itself, or you could combine it with the other games. So it introduced the new character, an echidna, is that what it's called? Whatever the anteater that ends
Knuckles
up
the
laying eggs.
echidna. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so he also I realized those animals are not red.
No.
Yeah.
They don't have spiked knuckles either.
Yeah, they don't have spiked knuckles
And
as well.
they can't glide.
Yeah, and they can't glide. It's like, I don't know. It's like Sega just had no idea what they were doing, just pulling like random animals out of their ass.
Yeah, foxes don't have propeller
Two
tails either,
yeah.
right?
But yeah, they ended up creating this cartridge where you could end up playing as the Knuckles character through Sonic 1, 2, and 3 by putting it on top of the cartridge. And so you could play, and it was really interesting how they did it because it allowed you to use parts of the level that previously were totally inaccessible whenever you were playing as either a Sonic or Tails in the previous games.
Yeah. Because you could like punch down barriers and climb up walls and stuff like that.
I don't think they had the punch down barriers part yet. That
Really?
didn't exist. Oh wait, yeah, you could glide and his knuckles knock down things.
Yeah, they
That's
did.
right.
Yeah.
Yep.
I
Another,
totally forgot about that part, but I remember because does he not jump as high? There's something weird about his because
Yeah, he's not as fast. He doesn't roll up into the ball and do like the ball dash.
he
attack.
can roll
he
into
does
a
do a
ball.
ball dash.
Does he?
Yeah.
He's just not as fast.
He's just not as
Yeah.
fast.
Okay.
And so some things, the only way he gets to certain areas is he has to glide into a wall and climb it.
Yep.
And then you can get to all these weird areas. I'm like, these devs built these areas? What the heck?
Yeah, one of my favorite things about the cartridge itself was just that you could play any other Sega Genesis game and plug it into it, and you would get the 3D World mini game from Sonic 3, and they would be different. They would be completely different maps all over, depending on what sort of a Sega Genesis cartridge you placed into the cart.
That's crazy. Because if they could get that right back then how come they're screwing up ports and releases and stuff now?
Oh, yeah. I
Who
know.
knows? Who
That's
knows?
so
But
weird.
Sonic's 25, and you know what? If you don't have a Genesis, you're in luck. Brazil's got your back.
Apparently they do.
Just a tip, you want to dive into this topic?
So yeah, for some reason Brazil's always had kind of a hard-on for the Sega Genesis throughout the years. Even after they ended production, it was one of the highest-selling consoles for a while.
It's for a very weird, random Brazilian-only reason, though.
Mhm.
Because Mega Drives, they were actually made there, Master Systems as well. They actually had a manufacturing plant in there, which was for all of South America. But Brazil has these weird electronic taxes, so any kind of electronics get taxed to hell and back. So because they were made there, they were cheaper. They didn't have this import tax, so it was like by default the cheapest, by far the cheapest system.
Mhm.
So that's why it's sold like hotcakes down there.
But
So, yeah,
Now I want hotcakes. Thanks a lot. Savory.
flapjacks.
But now they're going to get a special edition limited run that's going to come out. I believe it was going to be approximately $125 U.S. money if you're buying it in Brazilian money. But a couple of enhancements they made. There's an SD card slot, and it's still available for AV if you still want to hook it up to old school sets. So it's not all converted over to HDMI like a lot of other re-releases are these days. But yeah, if you try to go ahead and import that to the U.S., we have all those extra taxes, and it's going to cost you a pretty penny, at least $300 to get one.
Yep, and that's not including shipping. That's just the taxes in the system.
People are probably interested in this. Maybe chip tuners might be involved in this.
I don't know. They're very, very limited run. So from what I read earlier, there's maybe about 500 going into production, and that's about it.
And the thing with the Genesis and the Mega Drive, if you really look for them, they're not that hard to find.
And this kind of throws out some ideas on retro games that made Genesis what it is. We talked about this a couple podcasts ago, but dude, the Aladdin game,
Oh yeah, that was a triumph.
and
Wow.
so good,
that was
and
such a good game.
and the one game that the Super Nintendo kids could not have, Gunstar Heroes.
Yeah,
Gunstar
that was
Heroes.
pretty good. Another thing to keep in mind, and this is an actual full-fledged, legit Genesis or Mega
Mhm.
Drive. This isn't like some little emulation board. This is actual hardware that you can plug your cartridge into, which is kind of crazy to me. It's not like a little mini version with all the ROMs already loaded on it or anything. This is a full-on Mega Drive / Genesis.
That, speaking of, there is something that just came out that is a tiny version of an actual machine.
Tiny.
It's, okay, fine. It's a mini version. Hey, how's that for a segue?
It was a
Not
pretty
bad.
good segue.
Not bad, actually.
We'll give you a little credit here.
Yeah? Okay, so
All right.
this week, not this week. Oh, yeah, it is this week.
It
Huh?
was this past week.
The NES Mini came out with 30 loaded games, and it freaking sold out, man. And there are a couple of glitchy things, like traditional NES glitches still exist on it.
Oh, yeah, for sure. You gotta have those.
And it has a 2.5-foot cable for the controllers.
Yeah.
What were they thinking?
Well, that's the thing is that the 2.5-foot cables comes from the fact they use the same connector as the Wii Pro controllers, and those were made to just plug into the Wiimotes, which was connected via Bluetooth to the Wii or the Wii U console initially. But those controllers only had about 2.5 feet given to them, and they're still kind of using the same design for it. But I mean, you can use your Wii Pro controllers with the NES Classic. You don't necessarily have to get the 2-button controller that they've been selling, but those are only $10 a piece. So pick your poison.
Yeah.
One of the things that I read though is that the home button actually works for the Pro controller for being able to get back to the home screen versus I think the classic controller doesn't have the home button, so you have to end up using the reset button to be able to get back to the main menu for the NES Classic.
Little odd hack there. Okay. Random.
Super random.
Yeah.
Super random. But yeah, some good games.
Some good games, but they're missing so many games.
That's for later on. That's so they can sell you the version 2.
Yeah, wait. Start talking about games. I left my notepad on the other side of the studio, so guys, give me like 8 seconds. What did they forget out of the 30 games?
Oh, for me, let's see, River City Ransom,
Yep.
Super Dodgeball,
Yep.
Super Spike B-Ball, Little Nemo the Dream Master. How could you forget Little Nemo the Dream Master? That game is just part of my childhood.
And plus, Little Nemo is public property. Like they could not public. Yeah, they could put it on there. It's not a rights issue.
Mhm.
It's like public domain now.
Yeah, absolutely. I wonder who actually owns the rights to it right now.
Probably nobody. It's probably public domain.
Mhm.
That was kind of the trick with the NES, right? I mean, the NES Mini is a lot of the games we knew and loved were like, oh, that's not a Nintendo game. That's a Konami game. That's not a Nintendo game. That's a Disney game. That for example, obviously DuckTales isn't on there, and
Right.
DuckTales was insanely good.
And you mentioned Chip and Dale Rescue
Oh
Rangers
yeah,
as
Chip and
well.
Dale's Rescue Rangers for sure.
As far as licensing goes, that also counts for
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. The
Teenage
arcade game.
Mutant.
Yeah, I still remember the code for getting level select and 9 lives for each one of the each time that you end up having to use continue itself.
Was that a claim?
Yeah, was it a
For
claim?
Ninja Turtles. That was Ultra.
Ultra.
Yeah, and licensed through Konami, I believe.
And for those that don't know, Ultra was kind of like this American spin-off branch of Konami. And they released Konami-type games like Metal Gear 2 was an
Mhm.
Ultra game, Ninja Turtles was an Ultra game, and not Super Spike V-Ball, but Kings of the Beach Volleyball. I freaking love that game.
Which are all not on the NES Mini. Come on,
Because
Nintendo.
who knows, Ultra and Konami, and that was like 20. Who knows who has the rights? Like, who knows? Same thing with Super Dodgeball and River City Ransom. That was a game made by a company called Technos, and they were bought by somebody. And
Atlas.
Atlas.
And then Atlas got bought out by Square.
Yeah, so
Goodness.
those rights are all crazy right now.
Just give us the games you want, like Contra.
Yeah.
Contra.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean they give you Super C, but they don't give you the original
Yeah,
Contra.
and it's not like Konami couldn't use the money right now. I mean,
Hey, deep cuts.
Yeah, wait
I'm
until ahead and
just-
twist that knife.
I'm just saying.
Oh man, yeah, they could use some love.
Mm-hmm.
Konami, what on earth are they up to? But if you can get your hands on one, people are having fun with it.
If you can get your hands on one, they've been going for $300 to $1,000 on Craigslist and eBay.
People just want it. Hey, do any of you have any actual experience on these like third-party NES and like game machines?
Yeah, I've played a couple of them.
They work pretty well.
They work well for a little bit, but they're really cheaply put together, and they'll fall apart. Not only that, but some of the newer ones, like the Retron 5, shout out to Lane over at Game Gurus for telling me about this, but the Retron 5, Retron 5 apparently uses emulation, instead of it just taking the cart and reading directly
Being
from
hardware.
it. Yeah, and there's a lot of software issues and glitches, and a lot of people have been returning those just because the manufacturing has gotten worse and worse.
Okay, so skip those. Thank you, Game Gurus.
Do emulators count? Because if that's the case, I've been playing. Actually, like the last 6 months, I've played more old school NES, Super Nintendo, Genesis arcade games than I have anything new on my PC.
Warranted.
So
It's a good thing you got all those GPU
I know.
teraflops.
Yeah,
And
yeah, I can beast this and that, but now I'm gonna play some Mega Man 2 instead.
Mega Man. Oh, I mean. It's so good. It's amazing. It holds up to this day.
Oh yeah, it's fantastic.
Shout out to Robbie for going ahead and mentioning Earthworm Jim as being another classic game for the Genesis.
Dude.
That game changed everything. When it
I was
came
just
out.
playing that the other day.
That game like really upped the ante. Like that came out right around the same time as Donkey Kong Country, and like both those games just like totally raised.
Yeah, but that was on
the bar.
SNES too.
Mm-hmm. But like right around the same time, that was like two really beautiful side scrollers.
It was gorgeous. It was gorgeous. And now that we've talked about old games and retro gaming, let's talk about the future. Let's talk about stuff that's not even out yet.
Future.
The future. Let's talk about the year 2000. Well, you know, like games that aren't out yet, that you would have to order ahead of time.
Mm.
Dare I say the nasty little phrase, pre-order.
Somewhere somebody, CEO for GameStop is like, huh, what? Talking about me? Huh?
Yeah. So, Saverings, throw us over the subject about pre-orders and why this is a big deal and why anybody should care.
Well, this is kind of a subject I've been sitting on like for a while now because the more I've waited, the more stuff's actually come up in relation to this. But just to keep it brief, just kind of the state of the industry right now. It used to be, before you had your Amazons, your digital downloads and stuff like this, pre-orders was king. Like you couldn't wait to go there and plop your $5, $10 down on your game. And it's still very popular. But it seems like in recent history, there's been some really highly anticipated games that have been really high pre-orders and kind of came out flat for various reasons, whether it was performance or whether it was things locked behind DLCs,
now,
weird stuff like that.
V-Dash,
Mm-hmm.
is it actually proven that people are still pre-ordering games in the age of being able to download?
Yeah, pre-orders are
Still big?
They're not quite what they were at their peak, but yes, they're still a big deal.
When this is Loud and Brown, BT Dubs, when I used to work at a GameStop in LA, pre-orders for NBA Live were like the biggest deal. Everyone brought in their $5. And then you'd see them a week later and they'd add $10 to it.
Mm-hmm.
It was like this kind of like fake layaway.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And it also guaranteed them a copy because in the age of not downloading your games, being able to get a copy of the game on launch week was actually a thing.
Yeah.
Games would sell out.
Yeah, and the days before GameFly and Amazon and stuff too, like Redbox. Check out.
Yeah,
games
all
from
that.
there.
Like that's things. Those are things that happened within the last 8 years.
Mhm.
We're talking about stuff not that long ago,
Yeah.
except we're kind of old, so I guess it was really long ago.
Yeah.
But we're talking about stuff from 2001.
Yeah.
And you needed that game. Should have pre-ordered it, man. Then you would have had it waiting for you at the store. Oh man, would you get in trouble if you sold a copy and someone had a pre-order?
Oh, dude, you were busted.
You're super busted.
You were so busted if that happened. But I remember working at GameStop too when actually it was before it was GameStop when it was still the good old EV. And I worked the day that the Dreamcast and Final Fantasy VIII came out the same day, and that was insane. And the pre-orders for both of those were off the chain too. So.
Mm-hmm.
And the
Take
thing
that
is, a lot of people don't realize this about video game shops. MSRP for all of these are exactly what they can sell it for. They're not making a profit at $59.99. What they do make money off of are third-party like add-ons and magazines and used stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But that game, correct me if I'm wrong, they're not making money off of them really.
Are you talking about GameStop in particular, or
Just video game stores. When you buy a new game and a new console.
that's why reselling old games and buying your old games and giving you credit to buy new games is like that's the part of the game.
They make a little bit of profit, probably about $15, like $15 to $20 off of a $60 game, but they'll make much higher margin off of a pre-owned game.
Yeah, that's the thing.
It's-
And
it's
and
worse.
that magazine subscription, Game Informer,
Mhm.
bruh,
Yep.
bruh.
That really
So-
just drives you into the store.
Aside from now and then, now you can go and pre-order a game and the risk is less because they have DLC, they have patches. But back then, man, sometimes you get a game that you pre-ordered and you were super stoked at because you saw it at EGM and you got it, and if it sucked, you just have a bad game.
Yeah.
And there's been examples of that, like, the first thing that came in my head, and this is really mean, but Mortal Kombat 4. And I was like, oh, who bought that stinker, man?
Yeah. Well, it seems like today there's more variables, like you were saying, with the DLC, stuff like this.
But good old Just the Tip got burned with the game, too. He went and put a...
Oh, yeah, the last time I ever had a pre-order was for Metroid Other M for the Wii. I put that in for pre-order, and then after that, I was just like, fuck this, I'm out of this. I'm out of this whole pre-order game.
I'm out of the pre-order game, yeah.
I mean, there are certain reasons to go ahead and do pre-order. Like, if you're really into RPGs, sometimes you have to do that, because the store won't even pick it up. They won't even bring it into the store unless you go ahead and pre-order it. And you have no chance of getting it. And I've run into that a couple of times, where, I'd be looking for, like, certain 3DS games, because I was really into JRPGs, and GameStop or Best Buy or whatever would not have it. They wouldn't have it anywhere on the shelves because nobody had asked for it previously.
Well, things are tough.
Yeah. The last game I pre-ordered was... actually, I hadn't pre-ordered a game in years, and then I was like, went on a chance, and I pre-ordered something, and it ended up being Arkham Knight on the PC.
Oh, no!
Yep.
Oh, no!
Sounds like I knew it. I should have listened.
Should have listened. Well, that being said, if Kingdom Hearts 3 ever gets announced, I'm going to pre-order it. In fact... I'm going to Portland for a couple days, but when I get back, I'm going to go pre-order Final Fantasy 15 probably. I just want to make sure I get my copy and it'll be cool. And, let us know on our Facebook, like, if you pre-order, if you think it matters. I know with, like, Street Fighter, they got, like, exclusive costumes and, like, little things, but whatevs, bro. If anybody's just tuning in, by the way, this is End User Disagreements. This is the gaming podcast where your argument is...
invalid.
Thank you. This is Loud and Brown, and to my left I have...
You have Just the Tip.
And to his left we have...
You have the Saverings.
And we got one more topic before we dust out of here, and it's a big one, and you know what? V-dash hashtag so cool, hashtag brown power, hashtag car keys for days, and Wired sponsor. I don't know how many hashtags I can put on this, but this is Saverings. He's got some words about the new launch and first impressions on the PS4 Pro.
I actually went with a friend of mine who pre-ordered his PS4 Pro.
Pre-orders.
Yeah, we went and picked it up from Best Buy, and it wasn't too big of a line. Kind of disappointing. I was kind of waiting to see people and have the chance to talk to people, but no, it wasn't like that at all.
No line, huh?
He just casually walked in, and the guy was like, "Oh, here you go, boom," and you paid for it. And I actually asked the guy, has it been busy today? Have you noticed any uptake? And he's like, not really. He's like, I just got here, so no, not really. I haven't seen anything. So we take it home over to my friend's house. We hook it up, and
you didn't take the unboxing, bro?
Yeah, I have some video of it.
Oh, nice. Yeah, we'll post that on the Facebook.
Yeah, I haven't edited it together yet or anything. So basically, this is a friend of mine who I work with, and we kind of go back and forth, kind of teasing each other, because I'm always like, PC Master Race, blah, 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 and he's like, oh, my console, blah, blah. Anyways, so he goes and hooks it up, and we go to play it, and the funny thing is, he spent an hour in his TV's menus trying to get the settings on his TV right, and going back and forth on the PlayStation Pro to get the HDR and all that right.
We were just talking about setting up systems and how many things that you have to do nowadays instead of yellow wire, white wire.
Yep. Yeah, it was a whole thing. And I was like, look at you. And I even pointed it out to him after an hour. I was like, look at you. You've been in your settings for an hour. And you said, and I've taken my PC to his house before, and he's teased me for messing around with my settings and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, see?
Was that your Daniel Day-Lewis? Do you see?
Mm-hmm.
I drink your milkshake.
Yep. So we were the first, yeah. It's a great movie. Fantastic movie. But so finally, and the game we're trying to get to play was NBA 2K17, and we couldn't quite get it right. It looked good, it played smooth, but we couldn't quite get the HDR and everything right. So we pop in Battlefield 1, and that game from the time we put the disc in to the time we were actually playing was like a matter of minutes. So it was night and day. It varies. It varies between games.
Battlefield 1 was just ready for you.
It was just ready to go. It didn't need a patch or anything. It just played.
Do we have to throw thumbs up to EA right now?
Honestly, for Battlefield 1, yes.
Oh, god dang it. I don't want to... Oh, it hurts.
Yeah.
I don't want to do it.
Because that game is freaking amazing. More so toward DICE, because I'll really EA kind of did was just like pay for everything.
Yeah, thank you, Dice.
Yeah.
I wish you worked for a better company. Yo, Dice, go help make games for Valve. Go work for a real good company.
Or someone like that.
Yeah, I'm calling you out, EA. What, are you going to come after our podcast?
I feel the same
I
way
dare
about
you.
BioWare, though, with Mass Effect. It's like, why EA?
Yeah, that's something we didn't touch on in the pre-orders, but we can come back to that at any time. There's going to be more of that pre-order talk. But anyway, like the first impressions, you know, once you get past like getting everything set up, which as somebody who's been playing on a PC for a long time, and especially a lot recently over the last couple of years, you're always tinkering with your settings and trying to get things set up right, whether you want to or not. Sometimes most of the time it's for fun, just to tinker around and poke at it. So I was kind of accustomed to that. But once you actually got to the experience, Battlefield 1 looked and played fantastic.
1080p.
Yeah, it was. He has a 4K television.
Oh!
So we were playing it, and it really runs in 1440p, and they upscale it to 4K. But it looked fantastic, like right out of the gate.
1440.
Yeah, which is 2K essentially.
Yeah.
And then they upscale it.
I mean, and it was smooth. Was it
yeah.
online?
We played the campaign, and then he jumped into the. No, we didn't get a chance to play the multiplayer.
Okay.
So
That's the part I'm mostly suspicious about.
they have.
How was loading, actually? I'm super stoked on that.
Here's the funny thing about it, right?
Uh-oh.
The processors.
How funny is it?
It's a beefier system. Like the menus look better, games load and play quicker, and things like this. Games look better, even games playing in 1080p mode, all that kind of stuff.
However,
it's kind of strange that they put a 5400 RPM hard drive in it, which is a very slow hard drive. Nobody buys those anymore. Everybody buys at least a 7200 RPM. That's
Yeah.
what's in most computers. Yeah.
I think even Macs have 7200s.
Oh yeah. Pretty much.
Even Max.
Pretty much.
Even Macs.
Pretty much everything. Occasionally, you would still run into laptops that you just to save space and to lower the cost. So it was kind of strange. It took us an hour to download the patch for ABA 2K, and I know that's because of the write speed on the hard drive.
Yikes, man.
Yeah.
That's terrible.
Yeah. So that was kind of strange that they just bottlenecked it with like this really slow hard drive. So
Okay, so looks great. Weird hard drive. How do you think it's going to square off against the Scorpio and the Switch? This will be our last discussion for the evening because...
Oh, we're not even going to bring up some of the problems we have with the Pro just yet?
Oh, yeah, we'll talk about all that,
Yeah.
but let's get into this numbers game real quick because I actually wrote down numbers, guys.
Oh,
So we're saying the PS4 Pro is running 4.4 teraflops, and I realize these are kind of arduous and really relative. And then we got the Scorpio announced for next year. What time next year?
this time next year.
This time next year. Wow, a whole year away, and only projecting a 6 teraflop performance.
Only is pretty good though.
I know, that's good. And then we have the good old Switch that's max specs at 1.5 teraflops. And obviously there's more things at play. What are these companies' demographics? What games are they after? Like, try to make it brief. I know you love specs, but let's see, like, what do you think, who do you think's going to win here?
There's going to be no clear-cut winner. Probably by default it's going to be Sony because they got the big mind share, the head start, and they're more focused on the gamers themselves rather than any kind of tricks or gadgets or things like that, even though they just have the VR that came out and all that kind of stuff. Really, when it comes down to terms of power, for those of you familiar with teraflops, it's a measurement of graphical performance. But the thing is, it's all about what you do with that power. For instance, we were talking earlier, the Wii U was the weakest out of these three last systems.
Totally.
But up until very recently, they had the most 1080p 60 frames games.
Which is bonkers.
Which is pretty crazy. Yeah, PlayStation 4 didn't pass them until just a few months ago.
So Splatoon had some, was that 1080p?
1080p 60.
What?
Yeah.
It did look beautiful. Splatoon was solid.
Yeah. So it's all about what you do
solid.
with this power.
Sorry.
It is. It hasn't lost it.
It is a good game.
Are you convincing yourself of this?
No, I'm just like addressing all the maniacs at home that said it was a good game. It's like, oh, pass this. I'm like, no, that game is.
Yeah, I've heard it's pretty legit. I'll pick it up when I pick up a Wii U one of these days. But pretty much, it's all about what you do with that power. So, for example, the Nintendo Switch, which right now is looking to be a little bit more powerful than an Xbox One. But when you consider its portable screen is only going to be a 900p screen, you can squeeze a lot of power and get a lot of performance running things at 900p versus 1080. And you can also, that's also more powerful than the Wii U, which had a ton of 1080p 60 games. So they could do a lot with it. As far as the PlayStation Pro and the Xbox Scorpio, once you start getting up into a certain, once you start getting up into like a certain level of numbers.
Apples and oranges.
Yeah, well, yeah, that and like 4.4 versus 6,
It's bourbons and rye.
Yeah,
man.
it's
It's
negligible.
bourbons and rye.
and some games might work better on the PlayStation Pro than they work on the Scorpio. The analogy I used with you earlier is you could have a 400 horsepower. You could have a 400 horsepower supercar, and I could have a 300 horsepower like Subaru RX, WRX, and like smoke you. But like,
yeah.
like the horsepower really doesn't matter. It's what you do with it. Maybe the WRX has like lighter parts. It's got the racing seat in it.
Too many variables at hand.
Yeah. So it's really all about what you do with that power.
Okay.
So
We will see. I mean, time will tell with this. I mean, I have my PlayStation 4. I have no incentive to get any of the super versions of it. Unless the Switch has some crazy Smash Brothers game that's made by the people that made,
it will.
It will, but I mean, one good enough for me to buy. Maniacs, I did not buy the Wii U. I didn't care enough about Smash 4.
At least whenever it comes down to the Pro, you have to remember that there have been reports lately that unless you have a 4K set, it actually can make some of your games worse.
Oof.
And this is done because they super sample, which basically means they'll take an image, the machine will render it at 2K or 4K, but then if you have a 1080p TV, it'll squish it down. So you still get all the details that you get with a 4K image, but it's just smushed down to fit in your 1080.
Ooh, that sounds bad. So is there like clipping and?
No, actually, it's good. People do it on the PC and stuff a lot too, but it's just so you can get more detail. But because to your computer or to your system, it's rendering at this higher resolution, you're going to take that performance hit.
Ah.
So that's where that comes in.
Yeah, some games, I've seen, like the new Deus Ex, I think was reported like 10 frames per second drop.
Yeah.
Just at the beginning of the game.
Yeah.
So folks, make sure you're buying what your TV and all of your other, all of your other hardware is capable of. I mean, do some research. Listen to our podcast and you will be more knowledgeable. Am I right, Super Producer Keith?
Yes.
Thank you, Super Producer Keith. And with that, I'm going to do a little exit. You've been listening to the End User Disagreements Gaming Podcast. We're going to put all some ideas and some topics and stuff on our Facebook. We could talk about it more. And we can go into some angry discussions about it and how we're right and how wrong you are. Because, come on, guys, how have you not figured that out by now?
That's really what it's all about.
And you can find us at End User Disagreements on Facebook. You can find us at our Instagram at...
And User Disagreements.
You can find us on Twitter at...
You guys give me a tricky different one, but it's at EUD Podcast.
I always give you the chicken because you always remember. And, get us all at... I'm at Loud and Brown on Twitter and just the tip.
Just _ the tip.
And you can get at Saverings at...
At V-Gaming on Twitter.
Okay, so...
And on Facebook.
Engage in the conversation.
And on YouTube.
I want to thank so much Tribe Called Quest for sponsoring this episode.
Yes.
Thank you, everybody. And once again, thank you to Super Producer Keith.
Mm-hmm.
This has been a production of the Soundcasting Network. Go Hawks!
Go
Hawks! Thank you kindly.
Rip Fife Dog.
Swish.
Holla!
We had a good outro. I thought I was going to ramble way longer than that.
And actually,
I know.
some of these topics, like we can actually come back to these in later shows because we just barely scratched these.
Mhm.